can get it off, which he cannot. Ali McNeil's having the best.
Panay Sewell, the former top 5 pick, they go tackle eligible.
Touchdown, Detroit. Fields with Hutchinson coming. That ball is out.
All right. We're back, and it is the post-game show. The Lions and the Chiefs just squared off in the rematch of the season. And, man, epic fashion there at the end there, Chiefs. So, come on now. 1 point win 2 seasons in a row. Can you, this isn't for real, right? I mean, I didn't expect us to win this game, but then again, I put the thumbnail up last night that had Patrick Mahomes with his head, his head in his arms. Like, what just happened? It's preseason. Nobody cares, including Patrick Mahomes. But, Chef, what did you think about the game, man?
I mean, I was encouraged, man, by the second string. I think they held up. They did pretty well. When Patrick Mahomes was in there were no touchdowns thrown. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I was discouraged by the play of Nate Sudfeld.
I think everybody was a little bit discouraged, of the play by Nate Sudfeld. I mean, there was times where he made great plays, and then you turn around and yeah, he's just Nate Sudfeld. So I kind of want to do, since you have very limited time, I'm going to pop out the chat, and then I want to quickly do we're just going to do like around the room real quick and try to fit in as much as we can here with winners and losers right away. So while I'm pulling some things up, give me 3 winners right now, defensive side of the ball.
Defensive side of the ball, I would say Broderick Martin was a winner. Let's see, who else? Would you say Mitchell Agood? Matthew Betts.
So those are your 3 for the defense. Those are your quick hitters. So my quick hitters on the defensive side of the ball, Ben Nyman made a big case for himself today. He's one of the players that I said that you should watch out for, getting a lot of action, play the entire game today. I can't wait to look at all the rest of the stats that encompass what today really was. But Ben Nyman really made a case for himself. 5 total tackles, 2 solo. Didn't get to the quarterback, no quarterback hits, but he was kind of all over the place. Mitchell Agood is one that did get to the quarterback with a quarterback hit, 4 tackles, all individual tackles. And quite honestly, I could go one of 2 ways, whether it's Amik or Broderick, but sticking with the first quarter, Amik Robertson was all over the place again today. And I'm not saying that Broderick didn't have a good game, but if I were to go to my winners overall on the defense, Broderick makes the list. Amik makes the list. Ben Nyman makes the list. Mitchell Agood makes the list. Khalil Dorsey makes the list, even though at times he wasn't very consistent, right? Brandon Joseph, too many big mistakes. Bo Plon, don't know much about him, so I don't know if that's his game or if that was his best game ever. Lauren Strickland shouldn't be making this team. Right. Nice strip sack by Josh Paschal at the very end, but we're talking, 3rd and 4th string quarterback here.
Yeah.
Not impressed with Josh Paschal right now. Overall winners on the defense for you. Go ahead.
Overall winners. That's what we did. You mean losers?
No. Overall winners on the defense. So those are your 3. Now overall winner. How many do you got? Who played the best on the defensive side of the ball?
So from those 3, and then of course we have to put in Amik Robertson. I mean, I just kind of overlooked him. It was kind of just a known, like Amik Robertson is going to go out there and he's going to do his thing as a dog. So, I mean, for me, yes, Ben Nyman, definitely. I was going to put him in my 3, but so we had overall, Amik Robertson, Nyman, we had Agood, we had Pascal, we had Betts. Not Pascal, sorry, Martin.
And Betts. Yeah, Martin and Betts and Robertson. So Broderick Martin again, man. Look, he's getting into the backfield. He's getting pressure. He's not getting to the quarterback per se, which I don't think is his job, right? I mean, he'll get there eventually. Right. But that tackle that he had there in the 4th quarter where he ate up 2 gaps to get to the running back, I mean, that shows elite talent, right? The elite skill level and the awareness and the ability. He was engaged. and he was engaged and reaches over the guard or the tackle, whoever was on him, and makes the play. That's what we're looking for out of Broderick Martin. So here's what I will say. Getting to the quarterback with a, pass rush by committee is exactly what this team needs. Exactly what we need. And I don't care who you are or what you think about, defensive ends or defensive tackles or edge rushers and what do we need more of? What we need more of is a committee. We need more guys having success. So if you can get it independently, great. But I would rather see 4 or 5 guys winning than just one guy or just 2 guys winning. What do you think? What's your stance on that?
Definitely, man. Is the more people that you can't block, the better it is to get to the quarterback. And I think with Broderick Martin, one of the things that's going to help him to continue to develop is when he actually has DJ Reader out there on the field with him, and he's able to, mentor him between plays, between drives, let him know what he's seeing, give him some tips and pointers, like how can you get to the quarterback, like what's the strengths and weaknesses of this guy that you're going up against and things like that. So it'll definitely be a boon for him.
Yeah. So Bo Booth, you're asking me, what do I think? If you're talking about Vaki is not going anywhere. Vaki is clearly the number 3 running back on. There's no argument anymore. He is the number 3 running back on this roster. Vaki has shown so much in so little time, and we'll talk about the offense in just a moment here. But sticking with the defensive side of the ball, Matthew Betts, however you want to pronounce his name, whether you're French or American. It's easy to see that this guy has the skill to pay the bills. Like and again, we're talking second and third, teamers here, right? But he has the ability. He is so fast off the ball, and I saw him consistently getting pressure. And I don't know if they're counting it as pressure because, pressure is defined as so many, certain things off the line, but Betts is extremely quick, agile enough. He's not out of, the play at any moment. He's making plays consistently with his legs and his head. So impressed by Betts today. I called it in the pregame show that Betts was going to get a sack today, and he got it. So super excited for Betts. We'll see if he can compound, on this next week against Pittsburgh at home. That's going to be a big game for everybody. What did you think about Betts finally getting home?
I like Betts, man, his ability. I like I said on that play where he was chasing the quarterback and he broke down, not to just run by him.
Yeah.
So that was a good heads up play. So he seems to be able to rush with intelligence. He's not just out there just putting his head down and just going, so I liked his wherewithal. And that just shows his experience, and he's got a good, first step. He did have one where he kind of missed time one trying to get off the ball. But if he's back there getting 6-7 sacks, a season or even more, you'll take 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah. So what Chef is trying to say here with the breakdown is, and this is why the whiteboard is going to be so critical for us, or even the telestrator, if we can get that figured out before week 1, which is the goal. When you're coming off the end, you're flying upfield, right? Your backfield, whatever you want to call it. You're trying to get to the quarterback, and you're coming off the edge, and you're breaking your containment a little bit by moving towards the quarterback. Well, instead of running past the quarterback, he shuffles, he breaks down, he starts to slow down, keeps his feet moving, and he seals off his edge. So he doesn't lose his full containment. He doesn't get behind the quarterback, which then leaves him as a liability and that edge vulnerable to where the quarterback can just turn around and go the other direction, which is what Fields did to us, or Jalen Hurts did to us, or anybody that has running, a running quarterback has done to us in the past. Betts played with great intention, sound mechanics, very intelligent player. Right. So that was great to see. Michael Garrity, $5 super chat. Appreciate the donation there. What do we take from our 2s and 3s sticking with KC's 1s? I'm encouraged, he says. Chef, you've been saying it all day today. Super impressed that our number 2s and 3s did not let up a touchdown to Patrick Mahomes. And it didn't come until later in the game. that we let up a touchdown via a very long pass. But I was super impressed. If our twos can do this, what are our ones going to be able to do?
Exactly.
Now, vanilla playbooks. Let's remember that, everybody. Vanilla. Like we're seeing nothing. There's probably 10% of the playbook out there today. Like
Right.
they got a handful of things that they're doing within the same, scheme. So very impressed is what I would say. I didn't see much from Houston or anything from Houston. Did he even play today? I don't think he did.
That was gonna be my question. I wasn't aware if he was on the field or what.
Yeah, it just seemed like we had really bad angles today for whatever reason. I don't know why this game was shot in the angles that it was, but it did not seem like the normal football angles to me, and it wasn't a big full production either. Not the normal NFL, like it definitely wasn't NFL Network style of cameras, but I don't see where he's taking a snap anywhere. Mekhi Wingo, quiet day. I wanted to see more from him. Sion Vaki got in on defense, I guess, at least at some point, because he registered a sack. Or he registered a tackle.
Registered a tackle.
Um,
Well, the good thing about that, it wasn't a tackle after a Nate Sudfeld interception, which
Right.
he did throw.
So super impressed. I'm going to walk down the defensive category here. Khalil Dorsey was our leading tackler with 5. Brandon Joseph with 5. Beauplan with 5. So I'm going to have to keep my eyes on Beauplan next week.
You might have to learn his name, Will.
I might have to. I might have to actually learn a little bit about this guy. Ben Nyman, he is sticking on this roster. I'm more impressed by the fact that he has 1,300 snaps in special teams. I think that is going to help us tremendously. But he's a very heady player. Played smart football today. Mitchell Agood. There's only been a few people that have been calling this guy out all year, and I was not one of them. I was not on the early train of Mitchell Agood. I am starting to board that train now. Matter of fact, I'm sitting in the front row. I like Mitchell Agood right now. 2 tackles for loss today, 1 quarterback hit, 4 combined tackles today. So good day for him. And Amik Robertson obviously had a decent day. Ty Summers picked him up 2 days ago, whatever it was. 3 tackles today, getting his head in the ball game. So good overall showing. There's a lot to clean up. There's a lot of bad tape. We saw some breakdowns. We saw some, early in the game with the single high, safety coverage, which I just said the other day is a mistake. Like we can't be consistently in that coverage. We are too wide open. But then again, we're talking 2s and 3s today. Anything else you want to mention on the defense before we move to offense?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get out of here on this point. Malik Jefferson, man. I think Malik Jefferson is playing his way onto this roster. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of cuts within the special teams, and I think he's going to be able to make it. So if we see another good showing from him next week, I think he'll be there.
Okay. Well, I'll be looking for that. I didn't see him show up anywhere in the stat sheet today, but that doesn't mean that he's not there.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. Where he ends up next week.
He's just consistently around the ball, man, and that's a good trait to have.
Yeah. No, I liked his play last week. He seemed to be all over the field making plays.
Yeah.
And I thought he got hurt last week, but no, he's all over the place, and he's got speed to him. But again, our defense. I think they played a much better game today. This was more of a defensive game than we're typically watching, right? The defense played really well. If we had our number 1 offense out there, we probably would have won by 20 points today. Easily. Easily. All right. Well, I'm going to move on to the offense. You're bouncing out. You've got kids to bring to school. So you have a wonderful day the rest of your day today. What's that? Or soccer. Sorry, soccer. Yeah. You have a wonderful rest of your day today. Thanks for joining me all day and all morning and waking up early in Australia. So we'll talk to you.
Problem.
Talk to you tomorrow, man.
All right. See you later. See you later, chat.
All right. And then there was one, and I got to fix my camera real quick. Give me 1 second. get it pulled up in there. All right, so while I'm doing this, you guys tell me, what was the most impressive part of the day for you guys, offense or defense? What really stuck out for you in the first half? And then tell me what stuck out for you in the second half. All right, there we go. I think we're good now. And it looks like we're using the Rise and Grind morning show apparently today. So is what it is. We'll have to stick with it. All right, so offensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, Isaiah Williams was the number one target of the day. And I'd have to say he had a little bit of trouble early in the game. Maybe didn't have as much confidence going early in the game, but he sure did start to pick it up. 6 receptions, 71 yards, 11.8 per. Did not seek the end zone at all, but he was 6 of 8 targets today. Good enough for 75% catch rate. That's exactly where I would love to see him in these preseason games is getting at least 75% of his opportunities as a win. So good day by Isaiah Williams today. Caden Davis, not a great day today, but he did receive 2 balls for 64 yards. So a nice long catch today of 61 yards. So that did obviously put him somewhere on the map in front of Dan Campbell today. Sione Vaki. So my 3 winners, Isaiah Williams, Sione Vaki. There really wasn't much more after that, but I got to pick a third. I'm going to have to go with Caden Davis. Kind of have to because he had the big long break there of a reception today. But Sione Vaki, Caden Davis, Isaiah Williams are my 3 winners on the offense today. But overall, Tom Kennedy stepped up. But when has Tom Kennedy never really stepped up in a preseason game? He usually steps up at least 1 or 2 games a year. He made a couple of nice catches when we needed it, got us a couple of first downs. So overall, though, man, we are still struggling in this wide receiver room. Still struggling. I think that you can go ahead and park Isaiah Williams on this roster at this point. If we were to go top to bottom, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Khalif Raymond, and I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. Isaiah Williams is your 4th wide receiver right now. DPJ, Darius Fountain, nobody stepped up today. That's kind of an issue. We are heading into the 3rd preseason game not knowing who's going to make up this 4th, 5th, and potentially 6th spot. The Lions may be stuck in keeping an extra receiver this year, which means we're going to cut somebody that's really good because they are not confident on that 5th wide receiver. Where in years past, you had Josh Reynolds, which the Lions were extremely confident in to be that number 2. And Jameson Williams was always supposed to be that number 3, but Khalif Raymond was there. And Jameson made a hell of a 4th wide receiver, because he wasn't getting a lot of the early targets. So we're kind of in a tough situation here. But as you guys always hear me say, after the 3rd wide receiver, not much happens. So unless you're in 4 wides, empty sets, trying to win ball games, running 5 every once in a while, which never really happens. You really don't need more than 3 receivers. You just need them to stay healthy. So I think the Lions are going to be looking to pick somebody up, and it'd be interesting to see what happens this week. But I especially would look for the Lions to pick up a receiver after the cuts happen. I think if someone good becomes available, the Lions are going to be in the hunt. Overall, wasn't a terrible day. You had 26 receptions on the day, 346 yards, 13.3 average, 1 TD. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, that is but a quarterback would be Hendon Hooker. Look, the guy played great. Again, he's making plays with his legs. He's making plays with his arms. He learned how to slide today. He did take a few sacks or 2 sacks, I should say, that he probably could have avoided or maybe could have made him look a little prettier. And what I mean by that is the 1 sack was pretty hard on him. He almost bounced his head off the turf again today, and we can't see that happening. So he's got to learn to just get down, throw it away, get out of the way. He's got to move around. He has no problems moving around any other time, but he got stuck there for a minute, and those are the plays that can get you hurt. But Hendon Hooker, clear winner today. Again, he finished, let's see here, 12 of 15, 150 yards, 10-yard average. No touchdown passes on the day, but he did take 4 sacks. He's responsible for 108.3 rating. Nate Sudfeld was 14 of 27, so just shy or just north of 50% completion rate for 196 yards, 7.3 average, 1 TD, 1 interception, no sacks on the day, 72.5. Lions overall offense, 26 of 42, 342 yards through the air, 8.2 yard average. Not a bad day. Only 1 interception and 1 TD on the ground. Lions finished with 31 touches, 117 yards, 3.8 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. Now my losers. Let me back up here into the chat real quick. Jason asks, do you guys think Betts is making this team? I'm still going to go with the yes on Betts. I think he has an uphill battle, but after what I saw today in him making the types of moves that he did and the plays that he made, I think that he is a much better opportunity to make this roster than he did last week. Let's just put it that way. Michael Garrity, Williams had a nice punt return as well. He did. I forgot about that. Carl Rittenberg says, I like Bates, even though he missed an extra point. Yes, Bates, played great today. He's missed both of his extra points to the left. It started left, stayed left. Not sure what his issue was there, but we're talking 97 degrees and extremely humid today. Everybody's wet out there, and I'm not saying that that's an excuse, but I am interested to know, more about this and when I look at the tape later to see if there's, anything to identify here. Let's see. What else do we have in here? Fountain all day catching for Goff. I think that Fountain he does better with Goff. He just has not been able to be in a good situation over the last couple of weeks where Sudfeld is able to get him the ball, or, Hendon's not running around, taking targets away from people. Michael Garrity says Hooker locked up the number 2 spot today. I would say so too. Vincent Soames says, I think Isaiah, Vaki, Kennedy, Betts are locked after today. I could roll with that. I think I can roll with that. But Kennedy, not so much. I think Kennedy's on the outs, as he is every year. Vanilla playbook today, guys and ladies. So not a whole lot happening. Not a whole lot of excitement. It was just kind of get your... you saw it at the end, right? They totally killed the clock to kick a field goal. They weren't going to press the field and go down and try to get a touchdown. Dan Campbell just wanted to end this game as healthy as possible and get out. We had the early scare with Isaac Ukwu, but overall, the Lions came out of this game clean. My biggest loser of the day is Colby Sorsdahl for the second week in a row. Colby had a bad game. A few more plays that were polarizing once again. And you're talking second and third team defenses that he's struggling with. I have legit concerns right now about our backup offensive lineman. Colby's a problem. Abel Sika's actually playing better than Colby right now, based on what I've seen. Now, I haven't seen every play. I haven't been able to analyze everything that they're doing. And not that, I'm the end all be all, but I like to see things before I really give a firm decision on, or an opinion on how I feel that, these guys are playing or not. Manu is just not ready. And Mahogany is as far away as they come from being ready. So I would not be surprised if the Lions are looking for another offensive lineman in the coming weeks. So 2 positions that I think the Lions are going to be looking for is wide receiver and offensive lineman after cuts. And that is if somebody becomes available that is intriguing. Now, the intriguing part to that is that we can always put someone on our practice squad. That's not an issue. But if these are pretty good players, you're more than likely going to have them on the active roster so that they don't get poached from somebody else. So I'm not going to make a determination on my opinion yet until after I see week 3 of the preseason and see where the Lions end up as far as offensive line. Starters should be fine, but you guys know how it is. We go through 8, 9, 10 alignments every year because of injuries. And I'm hoping that we don't have that problem this year. But you can expect someone's going to get banged up somewhere. You just have to plan for it. And for that reason, I don't feel as comfortable with this backup offensive line right now. Defensive line, biggest winner of the day. They played great. They really did early. When Isaac Ukwu went down, I was legit concerned because he has been one of the guys that has been really playing well at just a very high rate. He is someone that should make this roster. Super excited for this kid. If he doesn't make this roster with the way that he's been playing, I would be extremely surprised. And that means whoever the Lions keep above him are really good. My second biggest winner 2 weeks in a row, Broderick Martin, man. I am so happy. A lot of people were wrong on this guy so far. Now, we haven't been to the regular season, right? He hasn't gone up against any ones yet. But what we are seeing in a 1-year transformation from being a 5th round project taken in the 3rd round to what we see today is huge. This guy his trajectory is pointing straight up right now. He could be the next Aleem McNeil. He is literally on that trajectory right now today where he could be a top 20, top 25 defensive tackle in this league by the end of this year. And if that happens and the Lions have, a DJ Reader that finishes in the top 15 and a Aleem McNeil that finishes in the top 10 and a Broderick Martin that finishes in the top 25 and a Mekhi Wingo that, comes along and finishes in the top 40, man, is that a change of pace for this defensive line. Extremely excited about that. Fat Guy Trucking says, I'm going to be going to the game next week and you have fun. I haven't gone to a preseason game. I don't think I went to one last year. I think it's been a couple of years since I've gone to a preseason game. But they're just as fun, man. Just to get in there and watch and get to see things up close, and it's not so crowded, so you can kind of get through the stadium, get to see a little bit more. And I would encourage you, if you haven't been through Ford Field, take a walk, get through all the concourses, see what's all around, because you just might find, hey, I like this area better than I like that area. I like this food better than I like that food. And then this is where I need, to buy my tickets if you're not a season ticket holder. I encourage you to take the walk. Let's see here. Broski Bear at Rick DPJ is the GOAT. No, DPJ is not the GOAT. Not yet. Not ever. Not right now. He didn't show up today. I could blame some of that on Sudfeld, obviously, but, DPJ had 1 catch for 5 yards. Not saying much. Not saying much at all. Jalon Calhoun, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not on this roster come Monday. James Mitchell, I wouldn't be surprised if he's traded or not on this roster by the end of the week. He's just not getting the looks. None of our tight ends are right now. Shane Zielstra, he hasn't done much either. It's a back to being a logjam at the 3rd tight end spot. Parker Heese, I love what this guy's able to do. I love his flexibility. And when you see a guy like this that is lining up as an H-back that's making blocks, picking up key blocks in the backfield, always looking to make a hit on somebody and get his nose mixed into the business somewhere, that's what you look for. You look for the extra guys. He's going to take a little extra and do a little extra. And those are the guys you want on your roster that are going to give you extra. Those are the guys that stick around. They help your team win late in the season. CJ Moore, didn't hear his name called, didn't see him do anything. Today we'll have to go back and watch the tape and analyze that one. So you guys tell me, for your second preseason game, Jake Bates, comes in. Game's not too big. Nails a game winner. He knew the pressure was on. So let me frame the mind for you. What was it? Second down. And Hendon Hooker goes in and kneels. And Jake Bates is probably looking around like, I guess I'm kicking a field goal. He got iced 3 times or whatever it was before he went in to kick that ball. Imagine being a kicker and your own team is icing you. Not only with kneeling, but then they call the timeout. He knew for 5-6 minutes, of not legit game time, but time that has passed, that he's going to have to go in and kick this ball to win a game. And it's not like it was a chip shot per se. What was it, like 42? Wait a second. It was 43. My apologies. 43-yard field goal to finish the game. So that's pretty incredible to watch this guy have to go through that process. And there was a lot of talk, 10 days ago when, you're in, dual practices with the Giants or whomever, and you're having to kick 15 field goals and you miss half of them. Like, one, it's not likely that you're going to have to kick that many field goals. 2, he was in the worst conditions you could probably be in the outdoor environment, 90 plus degrees, extreme humidity, end of the game, you're exhausted, you're tired, you're hot. And he did it. He pulled it off. There's nothing worse than being cold, and that's being way too hot. Sometimes the ball just doesn't fly right when it's that hot out. Especially with the humidity, because the humidity keeps the ball down. So, great day for the Lions, but once again, we win by 1 point at Arrowhead Stadium. We are now undefeated under Dan Campbell's tutelage here at Arrowhead Stadium, and I hope that we keep that that same thrilling ride alive. It's going to be a good Super Bowl this year, people. I think that our Lions have a great chance if our depth players can stay healthy and our defense can rise above like they have the last 2 weeks. Yeah, we didn't have a great game the first week, but there was some great things to take away from it. And all of those players had learned today or for today of what to do. And I think that they put a much better game in today than they did last week. So, Broski Bear. So, yeah, at this point, I'm telling you guys, Broski is a Lions fan. It does not make any sense that a Bears fan would be in every single Lions content creators shows. It would make 0 sense. He's a Lions fan. He has to be. He's just over here trying to screw with people. That's all. Has Jake Bates been tested for steroids? How does he kick those so far? I'm sure he's been tested for everything. 43 is not that far. It's not for a kicker. Nemesis Break says it'll be fun on work or at work on Monday with all those Chiefs fans. Yeah, that'd be great. Have some fun with them. Bring in some blue and silver cupcakes or something. I don't know. So anyway, before I head out for the day, it's been a long day. Any last questions? Any last statements? What would you guys like to talk about for the last few minutes here? I didn't watch the Bears today at all. I was fighting with NFL Network to try to get anything to play today. So I don't know how the Bears played at all. All right. Does Betts still have a shot at the roster, Michael? I think so, man. I think that he has a better shot than he doesn't. I mean, when you look at the Lions roster, I mean, we could run through it real quick. Lions roster today. Lions roster today. I'll see if I can pull up a depth chart. Let's see here. So on the defensive side of the ball, you got Marcus Davenport, Josh Paschal, Isaac Ukwu, John Kaminsky, obviously on IR. The funny thing is Josh Paschal played a large portion of the game, right? And he didn't do anything until the end of the game. So I would say that's a little bit of cause or pause for concern. But I still think he's on this roster right now. I would have Marcus Davenport, Josh Paschal, Isaac Ukwu on this roster. On the other side, you've got Aiden Hutchinson. James Houston with the bone bruise did not play today. I think he's still on this roster. That's 5. Mitchell Agood is 6. Matthew Betts is 7. So that's where the question is. How many are the Lions going to keep, right? Well, last season, I should have just left this up. Last season, the Lions 53-man roster they kept, I think, 5. No, they kept 7. Sorry, they kept 7. In 2022, they kept 5. That's really odd that it was so different. So interior defensive line in 2022, they kept 5, so they kept 10 overall. In 2023, they kept 7 edge and 5 interior defensive line, so they kept 12. I'm going to go right in the middle, and I'm going to say they keep 11 total. 11. So if you look at the entire roster today, you could make an argument to keep 7 of those guys as edge positions like they did in 2022. The question will be, is that 7th edge rusher better than your 5th or 6th defensive tackle, right? Or your 6th DB or your 5th safety or whatever it's going to be. So Davenport makes it. Hutchinson makes it. I think Mitchell Agood makes it. I think Ukwu makes it. I think that Paschal makes it. That's 5. So who's that 6th guy? Houston? Paschal? Or Houston? Betts? Paschal? I'm sure Paschal's going to make it. So the fight is going to be between Betts, Agood, and Ukwu. Or they end up keeping 7 edge rushers again. That is possible. So if we look at the defensive side, for the tackle position, you got Ali McNeil, DJ Reader. Well, DJ's probably going to be NFI'd for the first 4 weeks, I assume. So he's not going to count. So you got Ali McNeil, Kyle Pecco. No work from Levi O today that I seen, so he's probably on the roster. So that's 3. Broderick Martin's definitely on this roster. Mekhi Wingo's on this roster. That's 5. I don't see anybody else beyond that. David Botta's done for the year. Pat O'Connor hasn't done anything, and Chris Smith hasn't shown up. So I think that you have your 6 guys right there. You have Ali McNeil, DJ Reader, Kyle Pecco, Levi O, Broderick Martin, Mekhi Wingo. They are all on this roster, with DJ Reader potentially not being counted as he's an NFI guy. So if you only count 5, well, then that means you can take 6 defensive ends, which means either someone's going to get traded and they're going to try to get something for somebody that they're about to cut, which would be like a Josh Paschal. I'm not saying that he's on the chopping block, but he could be, or James Houston. Or you just end up with 7 edges and we keep 12 this year like they did in 2022. It's a possibility. And then you just kind of let, natural selection, I guess, as you would call it, kind of filter this roster out a little bit after week 1 and 2. You might have injuries, or you might have guys that just don't play well. And then, it is what it is at that point, because a lot of these guys have not had any work with the ones. And I think that's where, opposing ones, and that's where, the rubber meets the road, and things are going to be separated from there. What about this, Dale, about Jake Bates 50-50 with what? Jake Bates is a lock on this roster. They're not bringing in anybody else. So looking at the rest of this roster, I mean, the linebackers is where my bigger concern is we've got some talent here. You got Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone. They're locks. You've got Derek Barnes, Jalen Reeves-Maybin. That's 4. They're locks. Ben Nyman is making a case for himself. That's 5. Malik Jefferson, he made a case for himself last week and then even a little bit today. Bo Plan came out of nowhere, made some amazing plays today. Ty Summers, 3 days ago or 2 days ago, brought into the Lions. He made some plays today. Our linebacker room went from, very suspect to having some good quality depth players, but I still feel like the Lions need another dog in that room. Like, I would rather see a guy come off of, another team, a trade, something to really build out this room, because we are just one more player away from probably having a top 5 defense, in my opinion, in the league. Like, if we had one more dog, and it doesn't have to be a $25 million guy. That's not what it has to be. Look at Amik Robertson, right? Amik Robertson is flying all over the field making plays. He's not making $15, $20 million a year. But he's playing like he is. He has that dog in him. That's who the Lions need to find, and that's who they're really good at finding, is guys on, very affordable contracts that are giving everything to this team to win. Yeah, Barnes has kind of been, Barnes has kind of been, one of those guys that doesn't really excite me a whole lot. So I'm trying to look up Jake Bates' stats right now, because someone said he's 50-50. And I think he's only missed 1 field goal in the preseason. Maybe not. No, he's 4 for 4. Hold on here. Let me look. I don't think it's updated yet, but if you count today's and last week's, he would be 2 for 2. Now, extra points, I think he missed 2. Or he missed 1 at least. But we don't know the whole circumstance there. Jake's going to be fine. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about Jake. I'm really not. I think Jake's fine. As long as he can come out and nail a field goal, more often than not, I think, it's no different than what we had last year. It's better. It should be better. But let's get real about this offensive line, and then I'm going to bounce off. So last year, the Lions kept 8. In 2022, the Lions kept 9. I think the Lions need to keep at least 8 or 9 this year. And I'm really concerned right now that our offensive line, it just doesn't have the right depth behind the starters. Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow, Frank Ragnow, Kevin Zeitler, Penei Sewell, when healthy, are the best offensive line in the league, bar none, hands down. Lock it up, throw the key away. They are the best. Dan Skipper, I trust him more than I don't. Coyote Awosika, I am 50-50 on him. He plays well at times, but I don't know that you can totally trust him either. Michael Neese, haven't seen enough from. Jake Burton, don't know enough about him. Haven't seen anything really out of him. Colby Sorsdahl has been all over the place, and he's the one that worries me the most because he's supposed to be that instant fill-in guy this year. Even though he came out of William & Mary and he was a quote-unquote project, he was still taken, to be somewhat of a consistent option for the Lions by this season, and it hasn't shown up yet. So it does make sense as to why the Lions brought in a guy like Jamarco Jones. We'll see what happens, but I think the Lions are on the hunt for another offensive lineman. I wouldn't be surprised. So look for the waiver wires this week. There'll be some cuts happening on Monday, and the Lions could be active as early as Tuesday with finding, some players that maybe could help them in building out this roster and going into the last week of camp, with an opportunity to get somebody ready for the game. So I am all set with today's game. It was a much better showing today than anticipated. I did not have us coming close in this game with the Chiefs playing their ones, but again, they were supposed to play the first half. That's what was reported, and it didn't happen. They played like the first 2 or 3 series, and it was it. Mahomes, Kelsey, and the majority of all the starters came off the field. They might have left some of the starting offensive linemen in. They might have left a few, starting defensive linemen in, but that's really about it. All of the main, big time players, they were off the field. So it was a great day. Lions are 1-1 in the preseason. Preseason is meaningless. Of course, we don't like to lose at home, so we'll have to take on Justin Fields and Russell Wilson next week. Pittsburgh comes home to Detroit, and I might be out there. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Maybe. If I'm out there, we'll be doing some parking lot interviews as always and get the podcast fired up. Maybe I'll just sit in the parking lot the whole game and podcast. I don't know. We'll see. We'll try to do something different this year. But you guys have a wonderful day. Appreciate you guys joining us in the live stream. Hopefully by next week, the rest of the screens will be built out. So we'll be ready to go by week 1. We'll have all these brand new looks. Of course, we are the only channel that does a bunch of giveaways. So please do us a favor and allow us to earn your subscription by smashing the like button today, subscribing to the channel, and get notified when we go live because we're the only channel that gives away all sorts of stuff. You can ask half the people in the chat because more than half the people have probably won something from this channel in the last year. We're the only ones to do it because we want to bridge that gap between the fan and the team and get you guys all something to be closer to the team, be part of the team, and of course, part of Rocked On Detroit Lions and the Rocked On Podcast Network. And if you feel generous today, please go to buymeacoffee.com/rockedon. Links are always in the description, and help us fight cancer with Rocked On Cancer Foundation and donate right there in the Rocked On store or shop in the Buy Me a Coffee. 100% of everything that we make from the Rocked On Cancer Foundation tag there in the store all goes towards the foundation. Unlike, other foundations, they don't put all the money towards it, but we do. And we do it live. We do it live with you. We show you what we do with everything live on air. So you guys have a great day. We'll see you guys next week, but more likely I'll see you tomorrow in a video. Take care. Bye-bye.
can get it off, which he cannot. Ali McNeil's having the best.
Panay Sewell, the former top 5 pick, they go tackle eligible.
Touchdown, Detroit. Fields with Hutchinson coming. That ball is out.